In this video, we're going to go over understanding the download and install process with a flowchart before performing the work. I'm going to start reading here. Let's quickly go over the process you're going to follow for the download and installation of the software with a flowchart for easier understanding. Down below this section of this video, you should see a link for a flowchart. Let me get it pulled up here and I'll zoom in. Okay. Down the bottom right, you should see a zoom control, and then you should be able to grab it and pan it. Okay. Now, what this says, Zap Accounting Software, Box 5, Bookkeeping Module, Download and Install, page 1 of 1. Your goal is 4 functional copies of the Zap BKPN template and 2 copies of the DIY1 Google Script project. That's your goal. When we get done here, you're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4 possible copies of the bookkeeping template with different names for different uses. And you're going to see 2 copies of the Unbound Google Script project, 1 and 2. So let's start at the top here. We're going to go to a website. The website's going to have a link for the Zap B5 BKPN file. We're going to click the link to open it from the website. I have here, or copy it from a shared folder. Let's forget about that right now. We're copying from the website. We're going to click a link. We're going to go File, Make a Copy, and your copy is going to show up in the root of your Google Drive. All spreadsheet functionality will work. No scripting functionality will work. As soon as that file is there, you could open it and start using it. You could empty it, put your data in, and start using it. You won't see any file authorizations. You won't see any requests for authorization. The only problem you'll have is, we'll get into those later, is related to additional or supplemental functionality outside of your core bookkeeping needs. It's that fast. So this could happen in about 5 seconds. You can have a working copy on your drive. Let's keep going. 1, 2, 3 is steps. Let's assume we want full functionality out of this file. So everything that was built into it, we want to have access to it. We're going to go out and we're going to get a copy of the DIY1 Google Script project that's also found on the Zap Accounting website. We're going to click the link to open it from the website, and then we're going to go File, Make a Copy on that, and a copy of that will be in the root of your Google Drive. It's useless and benign until connected. You can always download these things. There's nothing that fires automatically or runs automatically. So you can get it down there, you could actually open it up, and then you could look at it and review all the script if you know what you're looking for, to make sure that it offers you the privacy that the publisher says it does. So we've gone through steps 1 through 6. The video I do this in, or this functionality can be done in 15 seconds. The video will probably be a couple minutes long because I'll talk a little bit, but this is 15 seconds worth of work. Step 7, authorize the internal bound Google Script project. If you wanted to authorize the internal script only, you could do that. I'll go through a video of how to do that. Then you'd have your copy. All spreadsheet functionality works. The internal or bound scripting functionality works, but the functionality found in this component would not. So we come over here to step 9, and we connect this file to this file. It's a simple process, takes about a minute or 2. After we do that, we would authorize the connection, step 10, and you would finally have a fully functional copy. This entire process, I'm guessing, takes about a minute or so. I haven't put a stopwatch on it and timed it. We'll find out here shortly. You can time it yourself once you get good at it too. Now, once we have a fully functional copy, what we are going to do is we are going to rename that copy. We're going to name it to something that makes sense to you, your operational file. Okay, we'll just do a file rename and rename it. We will also rename the copy of the Google Script project. We'll change it from the initials that it comes down with and add your initials to make it yours. These are all on your drive, by the way. There's no connection to us as soon as they're downloaded. So this is just helping you get organized. You can do this any way you want. After you do this, we're going to make another copy of this file as a backup. We're going to call it by the date you downloaded it and with an underscore original. This is for your reference long term. So as you're using this file, if you mess it up, if you screw it up, if you try to customize something and it doesn't go well, you have an original copy you can go back to that you can check the code on. Now you might say, hey, I could go back to the website and just get another copy. You could. And chances are, depending on what it is that you've messed up, you can probably find the solution by just opening our copy on our website and looking at the code. But if you happen to change something that changes after you download yours, and it's not in the new version or it works differently, that might be a problem. So you always want to make an original copy of this. Likewise, I would suggest, you don't have to do this, I would make a copy of this file as well and call it backup with the date that you download it and store it somewhere else. I'm not going to get into where you're storing these right now, and in the videos that are going to come right after this, we're going to do everything in Google Drive, the root of Google Drive, and we'll do a separate video or a separate series on different ways you might be able to store these in different folders, how you would set up your infrastructure for a slightly bigger setup. But for all these intro videos, they'll just be done in Google Drive. So we have a copy for you to use. We have a backup of that. And we have we have your scripting library, and we have a backup of that. Then the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to decide what you're going to do next. Are you going to gut your file and then configure it for your own use? In which case, you're going to empty the demo data from it. And at that point in time, you might want to make a file that has an extension or underscore blank on it. So after you've cleared the demo data out of it, but before you start configuring it for your use, you save it as a blank file. That makes it easier. If you want to come back and get another copy, let's say for a different company, or one for your personal use instead of your business, or one for somebody else, your sister, your brother, your mother, your daughter, that you want to help do it, you don't have to go through the 3 to 5 to 7 minute process of clearing out the demo data that comes in every file. So this is kind of an intermediate copy that you can make. This is also a blank copy could also then be used for if you wanted to use the transaction generator and start doing data simulation at some point later. So you can do that there. The other option you can do is if you wanted to go straight into demo data, you may make a copy of this, and so that you still have a working copy you can use eventually for your own use, but you want to put an extension on of demo data so that you could just go in and look and play with the demo data. And if you mess it up, no big deal. You could change it, you can modify it, you could remove some, see how the file works, see what it's like to run an acupuncture office for a year. So there's the 4 general copies that we'd expect you to have. You might only have 3 when you get going right away, but these are the 4 general copies we might expect to find on somebody's Google Drive after they've gotten going. And then there's a little box here that just tells you, the original should never be used or touched other than to make new copies. There's 3 months from now, you want to screw on with demo data, take your original, make a copy, call it Demo Data 2 or Demo Data 3. The Demo Data file is obvious for you to use, and then this explains what the blank was that I just shared with you. So I hope this helps. We're going to get a copy of this. We're going to make a copy of it. We're going to do some different things to it, and then it becomes yours. We're going to make some backups. We're going to get a copy of this. We're going to connect it to this, and it becomes an external library that's connected and stays connected, and we will keep going. The reason that you have an external library is, for example, this external library controls our nav1 function, which is found in all of our file templates. If we put that code in this file directly, every time we changed it, we'd have to change it in every file template we have. So we have a common, these are called code libraries, typically, and they store code, or this one in particular stores code that we wanted to use in multiple templates. So you only have one copy on your machine, but it feeds multiple templates. Okay, I hope this helps out with what we're doing and where we're going. Pull this up as we're going through the process, or I will pull this up a little bit as we're going through the process. Say, okay, we've just completed steps 1 through 3 or 4 through 6, and here's where we are. So hopefully it'll be a good map for you as we get going here.